Megacities are a hot topic for Illuvium Zero and the Illuvium community as a whole. They're a way to gain an advantage by buying land plots near each other on the global Illuvium world map so that you can get a bigger plot of land and have a bunch of benefits like sharing storage between all your plots. And I sought to discover all of the secrets behind megacities as is, which will help you determine where you should buy your land in relation to the big whales in the game who are going to be dominating relatively with mega cities, especially early on in the series. And for this, I asked everyone how many 3x3 mega cities there are in Illuvium. Now, leave a comment down below if you still want to guess before I reveal the answer, because 70% of you were wrong. It is actually 30 3x3 mega cities. For anyone who wondering on 2x2, it's actually about 170. Actually, it might be more, 275. We'll get to it right now. So as you can see in my document here, I've documented every single region, how many mega cities are in there, and soon I'm going to break down some minor analysis on things like how many resources are in each of these mega cities and what sort of tiers of land is making them up. So firstly, with the Abyssal Basin, there are 6 mega cities and 47 cities. How I'm classifying this is I'm classifying mega city as 3x3 plot and a city as a 2x2 plot. Now, technically they are both mega cities, but for the sake of this analysis, I wanted to split it up so I can get a better understanding of all of the above. In this case, there's 6 mega cities in Abyssal Basin and 47 cities. This has more cities than everything else and tied first set mega cities, apart from Halcyon Sea, which has 1 more. Crimson Waste has 6 mega cities and 41 cities. Crystal Shores has 4 mega cities, not too much, but a comparable amount of cities with 43. Halcyon Sea has 7 mega cities with the absolute most, and then only 37 cities. So it actually has quite a few less cities than the other areas in the game. Shard Bluff and Brightland Steps have only 3 mega cities each, and about 40 cities each. So quite comparable to everything else. And here is the crazy, crazy outlier. Tiger Boreal only has 1 3x3 plot in the entire region. And not only that, it only has 27 2x2 plots in the region as well, making it the least in both aspects by quite a solid margin. There are not many whales residing in Tiger Boreal, which is quite fascinating because Tiger Boreal is actually really awesome. It has some really great alluvials, like all the frost alluvials, like Jotun and Slashin, some of the fan favorites in the entire ecosystem, as well as lots of air and water alluvials in general. And a lot of the water alluvials are quite popular, such as Atlas. So it's very surprising that Tiger Boreal didn't get much love here. And so buying land in Tiger Boreal might be great because the mega cities in that region are not going to get a huge advantage over you. However, there is a second outlier that I'm going to classify very soon that we're going to talk about. I've also got a big map of where all these mega cities are placed in case you want to buy land away from them, near them, whatever it might be. So the other thing is totals. There are 30 mega city 3x3 plots in total and 275 2x2 plots in total. So about 300 in total, making up 1,350 plots. Okay, 1,369 to be precise, but about 1,350 plots are in these current mega cities. Now, obviously, these mega cities are only including things where the wallets are in, where the lands are in the same wallet. Now, if you have 2 wallets and your mega cities split up, then I cannot track that. So it's not including those things. I like to think there aren't many of those cases, but if there are, then this could look very, very differently. But how did I actually get to all these numbers? I want to talk about the story a little bit because I think it's quite interesting. I actually went on ChatGPT and I asked it, how do I write a Python script? It explained how to write it, explained how to run it, very, very simply put. And then I went through and I started getting it to actually write this script for me. I gave it all of the parameters of the different IMX APIs that you can find on their website. And then I taught it how to read these APIs. After that, I managed to get it to create a string that I could pull for the API, go through it, and then pull everything into a CSV file. After that, I kept adjusting and editing it to make sure it had all the data necessary, and I had to even go back and adjust it. After all this, I ended up with several scripts. I ended up with a land script that basically pulls all of the core data from the API and puts into a thing. I created a city script that essentially figures out what a megacity is, categorizes them, and then determines if it is a megacity or not, and adds that to a secondary CSV that's a direct copy of the first one. Then after that, I get a really cool script that's called plot map or landmap.py. And basically this takes all of the information from these CSVs and essentially spits out a JPEG that's a pixel map of what the Illuvium land would look like with all of this incorporated information. So if you guys want to try this and you want a video describing how I did all this, please let me know. I'm sure I could make that video. So back to the analysis. So we have the totals here. So what's interesting is we have the percentage of the total plots, and almost 7% of every single plot inside the Illuvium Land ecosystem is actually a part of a megacity. If we assume many people have split up wallets, then we can assume that goes to 7.5 to 8% easily, maybe 9%. But we're looking at almost 10% of all plots are inside a megacity. So if you're a part of the 90%, you're at only a slight disadvantage to those with bolstered up advantages, but you're not really out of the running just yet, especially if you have a T2, T3, or T4 plot. So let's get to the deeper analysis. I looked at all of the resources in all of these megacities and how they're divided up on all the regions, and so which megacities have the most of each resource. Now, I know the color is a little bit much, but let me explain it. Green basically means that there is not much of this resource on that region in terms of megacity resources. They're quite even on the regions outside of megacities. But if you assume megacities have a slight advantage, then you actually want to try and get these what's in green as those resources on your plot in that region, because then you will have slightly less of a disadvantage since the megacities in your region are not going to be as powerful. In this case, Tiger Boreal wins them all because it does not have that many megacities. But if you were going for Solon, for example, Crystal Shores would definitely be your best bet, whereas Krypton would be really great in something like Shard Bluff Labyrinth, and Hydrogen in Shard Bluff Labyrinth as well, overall doing quite well here. The other one is Crystal Shores doing quite well in general, and then the next best thing might be Halcyon Sea for things like Hydrogen and Solon, or Brightland Steppes for Carbon, Silicon, and Hyperion. So there's a wide range of things, but overall, Abyssal Basin has the highest concentration of resources across the board, and Crimson Waste is a close second. So if you're buying land, I would consider avoiding these areas unless you really need them for getting biodata. The other thing to consider is the added space for megacities means that getting biodata and encountering different alluvials is going to be so much easier for them. It's a little bit unfortunate to hear that, but it is going to be easier for them to encounter that biodata and really get ahead of you. But what does that mean and why does that matter? For example, if I own a megacity in Crimson Waste and I have an easier time finding Fiery or Ramphy, then I might find that Ramphy blueprint and I'm the first one to go to market. I'm the only one selling Ramphy onto the market. So other people who are able to find those things, they're going to find it later and the price will be lower by then, because by then, lots of people would have been selling their Ramphy and Fiery blueprints onto the market already. So you need to keep these things in mind. The other thing I took a look at was the tiers, the different plot tiers making up these megacities. And from that, I've created a city average power. The maths behind this is not too bad. Basically, a T4 is worth 27 times the value of a T1, T3 9 times, and T2 3 times on a 3 power thing. And then I just divide it by the total plots. Nothing too crazy. Anyways, Crystal Shores actually has the lowest average power by a huge margin, and Tiger Boreal has the most power by a huge margin. Now, it has an outlier number of plots encompassing these things, but still, this is balanced against itself, and so it has a really strong megacities in there, even though there are not that many of them. Ultimately, I would say that placing land in Tiger Boreal is still quite good, especially if you're going for biodata and blueprints. However, if you're going for fuel and other resources, putting something in Crystal Shores might actually be your best bet. And this is the best way to work around those people that currently own megacities in these places. And if you own a megacity, then this is kind of telling you where you're at an advantage. If you have a really weak plot in Tiger Boreal, you're probably going to get screwed. If you have a really strong plot makeup in Crystal Shores, you might have one of the best megacities and probably the greatest advantage in all of Crystal Shores. If you own that one 3x3 in Tiger Boreal, then you have the best possible Tiger Boreal plot there is. I hope that helps you understand this a little bit better. So let's jump in to the map. Sorry, I put the map up here. Okay. And here is the giant map. Doesn't it look marvelous? Okay, so let me explain the colors. I'll zoom in and that'll help. Okay, so the green is the 2x2 city. The pink is the 3x3 cities. And these little gray dots that you can see, they're actually plots that are currently for sale. Now, I know that's not particularly helpful for this video, but you can see up here, there are no mega cities in that zone, but there are plots for sale. Now, I think you might actually want to place things near mega cities unless you're trying to build your own. And why is this? Because when trading with some of these plots, I think it's going to be relevant that they're going to have all the resources and you want to have short distances between you and the people with all the resources. So buying plots near these megacities might actually be the biggest advantage for you in speeding up your overall production, especially if you know the people personally. For example, if they're in your guild or otherwise. As we go down here, we can see that these two megacities are clustered together, probably from some sort of conglomerate, and there's a lot of 2x2 megacities down the bottom here. If we look over to this region here, you can see only a handful of 3x3s. And if we look around there, there's quite a few clusters down the bottom middle and quite a few clusters down the bottom right as well. But a lot of these central locations and things are not too bad and not too clustered. And there's a lot of 2x2s on this thing, but no 3x3s. If you got a 3x3 in that zone, you would actually be doing super well. There is only one mega city for sale. And I can't remember if I color coded it something. It doesn't matter. But that is the map I have built to show off where all the mega cities are in Illuvium. If you would like this map, leave a like down below. If it gets to 150, I'll post this map straight to Twitter. You can use it for reference. I'll even update the map before I post it because this is constantly changing and updating, and I can just run my 3 scripts, output the map, and give it to all of you guys. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you now understand better where the mega cities in Illuvium are, what resources make them up, and how you can work your way around that to get the best possible start in Illuvium 0 for the coming June-July launch of the open beta.